So the next variation of mattress stitch we're going to look at is mattress stitch where we have two cast off edges coming together. So here is the cast off edge on this side, here is the cast off edge on the other side. I'm going to turn them around because I'm going to find it easier to work from right to left. So you'll find this situation, say if you're sewing together the shoulders of a sweater. So in this case, what we're going to do is going to work under the cast off edge in the top row of stitches, okay? And the same on the other side, under the cast off edge on the top row of stitches. So we start off by coming up from below through the middle of a stitch there. So you can see that, there's the stitch, the V. I've come right up through the middle on that side. Now I'm going to line these up together, and what I'm trying to do here is to finish this seam so that when we look at it, it just looks like a piece of knitting. So we want a V to run through to a V on this side. In order to do that, then when I come out here, I'm going to cross the gap, I'm going to go under the two legs of this stitch. So in fact what's happening here, if we look carefully, is that I'm half a stitch over. I've got one leg of the first stitch and one leg of the second stitch. So I'm going to go under the two legs there. So that's your setup, as it were. Let me just get this moved through a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so that's our setup. From below, through a stitch on the bottom, across the gap under two legs of a stitch at the top. For the rest of this seam, we're going to cross the gap and, as always in mattress stitch, return to where we came from, and then we're going to go under two legs. So in here and out there. Again, I'm going to cross the gap, return to where I came from, and under two legs. So we repeat that all the way across. Cross the gap, return to where I came from, go under two legs, cross the gap, return to where I came from, under two legs. So I'll just do that a little bit more. Now, if you look at this, we can see that the path that we're taking is actually the same shape as a stitch. So in fact, if you wanted, you could make what's called a mock graft across here. And how you do that is take your stitches and just ease them so that they are about the same size as the stitches in the pieces that you're putting together. Now, this is a little bit awkward because it's cotton and it tends to pull. But you can work on that and ease them until you get those stitches just about the right size. Okay. And if I move on another little bit, I can show you that again. So back to where we came from, under two legs and out. Cross the gap to where we came from, under two legs and out. And again, you can adjust these stitches as you go to make them about the right size. So here we go, into the gap, under the two legs and out. Across the gap, under the two legs and out. So again, let's just adjust the tension here slightly. So if this was exactly the same colour, you would probably not really notice those stitches at all. Okay. Now, of course, you do have the option of pulling it together. Now, I'll just show you that on the back first. So what happens when you do the mock graft is the two edges just come together very smoothly. If you decide you want to pull that shut, just put tension on the yarn Just keep exerting steady tension until it's firm. Then go back and ease it out a little bit. And what you have is what looks like a piece of knitted fabric with no seam again. Okay, so this is the advantage of Mattress Stitch. It just gives you such a beautiful clean finish. So you would continue all the way across your seam, stopping to pull it together about every inch or so. It's kind of important to do it fairly frequently, because if you leave that until you've got about 3 or 4 inches, it's very difficult to close the seam evenly. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pull that again. Pull it until it's quite taut, and then go back and ease it out. Okay, and there you go. That is Mattress Stitch when we have got 2 cast off edges together, or any time where the stitch meets the seam across its width. Okay, so you can see the width of the stitch is meeting the seam. Okay, same here, the width of the stitch is meeting the seam. And so that's what we do in that case. Okay, great.